sound from this way that I'm speaking from, and if I go to the side or from behind the microphone, it doesn't pick up sound. And this way I hope, fingers crossed, I hope that it won't pick up as much noise from the neighbors or from the computer humming, and so that I can position the microphone so that it will pick up my whispers or whatever sounds are coming from my mouth, and also the sounds of the paper. I was telling that I have this giant sketchbook that I've had for years now. I got it as a present maybe in 2015, I believe. And the date of the sketches that I've drawn or drawings, and there are actually some watercolor paintings, watercolor work also, but maybe someday we can do a video on when we check out the old sketches and maybe do some tracing on them. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I was also saying that I used to have no, I didn't used to have, I still have a tendency to get frustrated with drawing and painting and the works, because I have a fairly clear goal in mind that I want to achieve. And when it comes to drawing, especially sketching, and when you're trying to get the creative juices flowing, it's no good thing. It's most important to try and have fun and try to remember why we used to draw when we were kids. It was because it's fun. It's fun to see when we have something created onto the paper or other platforms. Oh my god. Once again, someone sent me a text message. I have a coffee date with a friend of mine, and they just sent me a confirmation text to say that the time that we were planning is okay. Anyways, the fun in drawing is something that can very easily be killed texture or shape that is pleasing. We're having some technical difficulties today. Today is not the day. We had some technical difficulties. I have no idea when the screen froze. The camera stopped working. Well, it couldn't have been that long because we only had the eye shape out there on the paper. We'll see if this video will ever make it out of this effort and see the daylight. I was saying that for me, the joy in drawing often comes more from drawing shapes rather than drawing a particular thing, like drawing a cat, or drawing an arm, drawing an eye, drawing a head, or lips, or that sort of thing. Eyes are often the thing that I start sketching onto the paper, but it's funny how, at least for me, I get stuck in my ways when drawing the same thing over and over and over. possibly a shorter story, or even these. We have these shorter comic storyboards in newspapers and such, where sip of coffee, where we can tell stories in shorter form and jokes and stuff, and it's fun when it needs to have a punchline told in a short form. It's truly an art form. And maybe someday we could do that sort of drawings. And, I often, when I draw, I've actually learned more sketching and drawing on iPad nowadays, and now that I have only pen and paper, it feels weird. It feels a bit foreign for a while, and that thing that I can't do the erasing. I can use a manual eraser, but the point of sketching is that I don't really need to do any erasing. I can just do my drawing, but I have to do the lines very opaque or fine. Let's say that we have a head there. If we do the lines really sharp and dark and strong, then there's nothing to build on without erasing it or using colors or white gel pen or something. But if we'll try to do some basic shapes, that's the head. There we have a shoulder, or it's supposed to be sideways, the profile. And maybe more the chest shape. And there, on the behind, there's another shoulder. It's certainly fairly difficult. Maybe I should rather focus on the actual shapes other shoulder behind. Maybe this hand, it goes downward and comes a little outward so that we can have the shape of the palm there. And the other hand could be right there, close to waistline. Grabbing the hip and going there behind the chest. And this is more maybe female shape. I'm not happy with it. This is really hard doing the sketching on video when I automatically want to achieve something. It's well, I like to say welcome on to the journey with me, on the journey with me. Let's get frustrated together. Maybe if we draw like different shapes or tools, if we could do and this is also a bad habit of mine, I don't do the baseline sketching most of the times, like drawing something to be circular and having different base, and building on this on a tablet, drawing these shapes and taking another layer and drawing on it. It's much easier. It's a good thing that I at least know how to do it in theory, and some ways, but when doing with pen and paper, I don't have the energy to start doing the fine erasing. Or maybe if I would use, this is a bad eraser. If I would do a complete drawing with different mediums, do some sketching with the pencil and then use bit artist pen. This is more, oops, shaped like a brush with a fine tip, so that if you're very careful, you can do some very fine lines with it. But if you push it more, then the lines are quite thick. It makes some pretty lines. Anyway, back to drawing the gear, or a gear-like structure. When I draw with a pencil, it gives a nice feeling of control. So that we can draw, or I can draw. I don't know how you feel when you draw with a pencil. These very soft and fine shades, and the texture of the paper is shown better. This my sketching on video is more like how not to do, what not to do when sketching. This, no, don't do as I do. It's a bad way of doing, and I would be better off trying to do some fine art. Well, not fine art, but how do you say? Copy from reality and to photorealism. Yeah, that's the thing. Which is something that I'm terrible at. Always liked more the comic book style of drawing. When we do characters and such, for example hair, we can do the outlines of the hair online. That would be the chest. We can do the head over there, and maybe even the hands could be extended upwards. I do need to focus on the basic shapes more. So that we can focus better on the anatomy of human beings. The chest area and the rib cage comes there, and the bending, if we want to do it a bit backwards, comes from below the rib cage into the lower back. The stomach is fairly flat, and possibly one leg extended downwards, and it gives shape of the buttocks onto the side more, and the other leg extending behind the person. We're not going to draw the ankles or such. Or maybe we are extended foot, the ballerina's foot. And yes, the artistic freedom. We can add things that aren't really realistic. And it can give us an impression of something easier, more easily than when doing some very realistic drawings. It looks really messy. That's because it is really messy. Yeah, I think that we're going to wrap it up for today. This was more on the chaotic side, just rambling on and on, losing my own train of thought multitude of times. And yeah. Anyways, I hope that you didn't focus too much on my rambling and got some sleep. Or if you haven't fallen asleep yet, I hope that you will fall asleep in a minute. Just hear them, feel them with all your senses. Little by little, they become the reality. They wash away the yesterday, and they let you be free. They let you experience the you that you really are. Free, without worries. Unfeathered.